Welcome back to my channel, you guys. So I'm back here for another video. I basically today the plan is to kind of review what happened last year. Not terribly much. I know I've been harping on how I hated last year, but just a little bit, because I want to reflect on what went well and what didn't go well, and we're going to review the vision board. Because last year was the first year I've done a vision board, and I still really like it. I feel like it wasn't as successful as I wanted to be, but I feel like there was just a lot of extra things. But I feel like some things did get accomplished, so I want to, sorry, I have my notes here. I want to just kind of go over where things are, and then and then another video we're going to do a whole nother vision board, and we'll see if it gets better for this year. So, and I know it's already like a month in, but you know, we're a little late on things, okay? So the first point I wanted to cover is the mantra for last year was progress, not perfection. I feel like that fit so well because some things had unexpected results, but things did progress somewhat. So we got some progress, but again, definitely not perfection. So this year, still striving, still trying. I might come up with a new mantra, I'm not sure, but I mean, in general, that's kind of my life. So we're just making it work, okay? So like some goals I accomplished them to an extent, but not fully. So I feel like that's still gonna be a thing. So the first one I put on there was water. I have been doing better with water. So right now I got a larger, like a Hydro Flask-like bottle. It's not that brand. It was a lot cheaper, but it does the same job. It's 40-ounce bottle. I take that to work every day, and I at least get one in. Now, a lot of times at night, I will drink more water, like right before I go to bed. I know it sounds like a terrible idea, but a little bit of water before I go to bed, like a glass. So usually I'll refill the water just a little bit more in that bottle and then drink a little bit more. But on some days I have been actually getting 2 in. So I feel like that's a lot better, because before it was like, okay, I drank a bottle of water today, you know, like my little small 17-ounce bottle. But I feel like it helped getting a bigger bottle that had a lot, I could put ice in it, and you know, it was keeping nice and cold during the day, and I've been really working on trying to get that water in. So, and then for lunch, trying not to drink pop and drinking water instead. So I feel like that's helped quite a bit. And sometimes in the morning, I'll also drink water on the way to work, because I feel like if I can get at least some of that in right before I even start the day, I feel like that's a good thing. So that is actually improved. So that was, I would say, is successful. I still want to keep up with that. Obviously, that's not something I'm going to drop, because I do feel a lot better drinking water. So I want to keep obviously up with that. Now subscribers. So my goal was 1,000. As you know, if you've been watching my channel, I was not super frequent last year, which I feel like, which is kind of surprising that my subscribers still went up. Like, I'm so grateful that it did, because I was looking at it and I'm like, I don't know, like, I wasn't frequent about my videos. I didn't have like a set schedule. My schedule's supposed to be Sundays, and for like months I wouldn't post and then post one video kind of thing. Just because, like I said, I wasn't feeling like myself last year, and I feel like I just was slacking and I wasn't trying to, it happened, you know? But I still went up. So my subscriber count, I'll put it on the screen here, started at 28 at the beginning of the year, and it went up to 73. So I still feel like that's progress. Again, not perfection, not, you know, the goal I set or anything, but I feel like I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? It's still going up. I'm still doing better. But I really want to this year dedicate myself really to my channel and get the subscriber count higher, because I really like making videos. I like doing this, but for some reason last year I was just like, I just don't have the mental energy to do it, and I didn't. So I'm really striving this year to make more content and to get better about this. So, and I have hope. So I still want to keep my 1,000 tag up there. I mean, I'm trying to be realistic with myself. That would be the goal. That's like what I want to strive to, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm just really really striving for that. So this year I feel like making more consistent videos, this would help. So I'm gonna really work on that this year. So exercise was the next thing. I will be real with you. I did not do this at all. Like probably like a little bit in the beginning of the year, and then it was like, ugh, exercise, ugh, I don't want to do that. And then I did it. So yeah, that's probably why other goals didn't get accomplished, because said first goal didn't happen. So this year I still want to do that. I still want to try for that. This month so far hasn't been good, but it's still a goal. I still think 3 is pretty reasonable. I just need to set some sort of, carve out some time and do it, and like have a schedule. I feel like that would be the best for me. Like I have to do it at X, Y, and Z time. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like this is your time to do it. And I feel like that works better for me. And I really didn't do that this year. So, you know, that's why that didn't happen. Vegetables and fruits. I did actually have an increase in that. I wouldn't say I'm perfect by any means. I still eat more like carbs and meat based diet. So I need to like obviously increase that, but I did try to implement more fruits and vegetables like in dinners and things like that to try to help out. So I just need to increase that and then decrease the other things down. So still working on that. Still, as I said, progress, not perfection here. Oh, create. I put that on there because I like love doing creative projects and things like that. Like my YouTube channel is a creative project for me, but at the same time, I didn't do as much as I wanted. Like I did some like artsy stuff and that's cool, but I didn't do as much as I wanted. And so I feel like I had that in my mind. Like I wanted to, it's so bad, and then I didn't. So I need to work on that still. But so that's still on the board for this year too, because I'm like, I love doing creative projects. I feel like it makes me happy. So that's when I really need to focus on, as opposed to just, you know, ignoring it, that kind of thing. Sorry, I'm checking off my list as we go. Drama free. Drama free. I feel like this is more work applicable, but I feel like mostly I stayed out of stuff. Like I just, you know what, as you guys' problems, I'm not gonna get involved. Like I'll have my opinions on the side, but not get involved in stuff. I feel like for years I always like get involved in people's problems, and it's just a lot, and it's not healthy. But I'm just that person that feels like I should just be involved in everything. But I just want to get out of mostly work drama. Like other drama, like we don't have drama, but like it's work specific drama. But I did feel like I got better about it this year. I just try to stay out of it. Like, okay, that's y'all's problems. Like y'all deal with it, kind of thing. I mean, I might have an opinion about it, but I'm not gonna get involved. So I feel like that's stayed true. I want to keep with that because I feel like it just causes more problems than anything else. Meditation, that's one thing I still want to do. I feel like I did a little bit every once in a while, but it wasn't like consistent and not where I wanted it to be. I feel like for this year I need to have like a set routine, because that's the only way I do better, is if I have like, at this hour you're gonna do this, and at this hour you're gonna do this. Like I need to schedule things out for myself, because I feel like then I know like what's expected of myself, and if I don't do it, as opposed to just having it on a list, like today meditate 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh screw it, I just won't do it, you know. I feel like I strive better that way, so I might have to like literally write out a schedule for myself and make myself do things. So that's where that is. Cleaning, I feel like I did a lot better on. So house-wise, it's not perfect. Like I'll admit, like we need to vacuum the stairs and we need to do other stuff, and dishes weren't ever perfect, but I feel like as far as getting things organized, like picking up things more, making sure, like, I mean, if someone came over the house, for example, a year when I started my YouTube channel, like I'd be like, oh my gosh, people are coming to the house, it's a nightmare, like it's just Armageddon in this house, like everything's destroyed, like it just is a disaster. And I would have to like really hustle to get things fixed. Like if I had 5 minutes, there's no way. Like I would have to have 20 to an hour to clean to be able to get it even presentable to other people in my eyes. So this year I didn't feel like it was that bad. Like if someone came over, then I'd be like, okay, there's some dishes in the sink, but it, you know, and the countertops aren't perfect. I could just clean off the counter really quick, wipe it down, do a little sweep, we were fine. Which is, I feel like, reasonable versus like, oh my God, like like everything's a disaster, like there's papers everywhere, there's like all the coffee tables are gross, like because there's, you know, like just garbage everywhere. Like it wasn't that bad. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction. And some of the organization systems I implemented, I feel like I did stick with for the most part. So I feel like those are definitely strides in the right direction. And I want to keep up with that. There's going to be some organization videos coming your way because some areas I want to rework to try to make them more functional. The one system that I did last year that is still working and I'm very proud of because it's never worked before is our bathroom organization system that we implemented a few months ago. I have been keeping that up. It's not gotten nasty like it did before. I've been trying to keep the same systems. It's hard getting the husband to follow said systems, but I'm like, these things go here, these things go here, because I don't want all this junk all over the counter all the time. And I feel like that's stayed true for the most part. There's a few things that get on the countertop, so I'm not going to be like, you know, crazy about it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, a hairbrush can stay on the counter. Fine, I'll allow it. But it's not nearly as nasty as it was before, where everything was on the counter and nothing had a place. So very happy that that's the system now, because I feel so much less stress when I go in the bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, where are my things? Because it's all in a big pile. And then punctuality, I would say the beginning of the year, majority of the year, I did really good with this. It depends on what I'm going to or what I'm doing. Work, I feel like I struggle. It's because I just don't feel like waking up and then I'm like rushing to leave. So I still want to try to wake up earlier. I feel like that would help things. Like if I just literally went to bed a little earlier and woke up at a decent hour, then that would resolve said problem. But for me, it's always like, oh my God, I didn't get enough sleep. I don't feel like waking up. I'm literally gonna snooze 100 times and then I'm gonna leave at the last minute and I'm gonna look a mess and I'm gonna get there at the nick of time. So I just don't want to live like that anymore. It's awful. But the majority of the year I did better about it, and then at the end of the year I started slacking again. And I don't know if it's because like I feel like you have a day off or something where you're like stay up really late and then you sleep in the next day and then it messes the whole thing up again. Like I've got to get better about that because that really screws things up. You know, it's like if I chose to stay up late, it's my own fault. I need to still go to bed the next day early, even though I don't have as much time that day to really do what I want to do. So I have to accept that and just deal with it and like move on with my life and not try to stay up the next night. Like, oh, I stayed up till 2. Okay. And I went to bed and I stayed in bed till 11 and now I need to go to bed at 2 again. Like I can't keep doing that because that's not good. And it kills me. So, was a baby. Don't have a baby. So I don't have the proof of that, but I do feel like I made strides. This goes back to progress, not perfection. I did look into what was going on with me. I feel like that was a big step, and there was a lot going on with me apparently. So at the very beginning of the year, this is a lot of personal stuff, so if you don't want to hear it, fast forward. But I was wondering why I wasn't able to get pregnant, and I was like, what's going on? And my periods were irregular. So I was trying to find out why was this happening. Like sometimes I would get a period and it would last super long, like almost a month straight. And then I wouldn't have one for 2 months. And then I was like, this is weird. Like what's going on? I was very regular and then all of a sudden it wasn't regular anymore. And that had been happening the year before. But it's one of those things like where you don't want to take the time off work to go to the doctor and you're just like, it's fine, it'll figure itself out. And then, so I just broke down and was like, look, I've got to get this addressed because obviously that's why I can't get pregnant because nothing is regular. How do you know when you're ovulating if your period is all over the place? Like you don't even know when or if you'll even get it. And then a lot of times I would think like, well, am I pregnant? Is that why I don't have a period? And then I would take a pregnancy test and it was negative and it was a big hoopla. And this happened for many months. So I finally went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So basically, what that means is that they have to put you on a medication because, I'm trying to think all the logistics. So you have some insulin resistance to your body and that can make you can develop cysts in the ovaries, which can basically mess up your cycle. So there's probably more to it than that, but that's in essence what was going on. So I did an A1C, found out that my blood sugars were running high, which was basically messing things up. And a lot of that's probably because of my weight as well. So they were like, you need to get that under control and that would help things. So I got put on metformin. I've been taking that consistently. And then they did some ultrasounds and to find out if I had like actual cysts in my ovaries, to find out if there was anything structurally going on. Once they found out that I did not have any cysts, but they did find a polyp in my uterus. So that happened. And then that was an unexpected finding, which led to me needing a surgery to have that removed. So I went and had the surgery to have that removed. It was bigger than they anticipated, and it was also near my cervix. So in my mind, I feel like that had something to, I mean, I know it had something for sure to do with like all of this chaos, but also with the not being able to get pregnant thing, because if you have something blocking the cervix, you know, that's not good. So we got that removed, that's been addressed, medication's now on, periods are regular. So I feel, and this was like an ongoing process throughout the year. So I feel like that's at least some progress, because at least I know what's going on now versus me before just kind of ignoring it and hoping it would figure itself out, which I know is not smart, but I just kept thinking, well, I don't want to take the day off, or like, it'll be fine. Maybe it's just a weird situation. I don't know. Maybe it'll figure itself out kind of thing. And I didn't have a primary care doctor, which I strongly encourage everybody to get. That way you have someone to go to with these weird things, at least to figure out, do you need to go to a gynecologist? What do you need to do? So highly encourage you to have someone, at least a point of contact, to get you started with all this stuff if you have any problems, because I feel better now that I have someone to go to. Like, I know, okay, this is what's going on with me and this is what I need to do to fix it, versus in the past where I was just like, okay, I just won't go to the doctor. Like, if I don't know, it can hurt you, you know, that's not a good attitude, not recommended. So we got that figured out. So now everything's more regular. So now I can actually feel like I can track ovulation and do the things I need to do. So that was a long-winded story, but I just want to let you know there's a lot of background story to that, but I feel like at least I have an answer now versus before. And I didn't have cysts in my ovaries on the ultrasound, which I was very grateful for, because in my mind, because I tend to overthink things a lot anyway, but when I had the ultrasound, I could see on the screen at the end of the room, like, what she was doing, and I was like certain I had cysts, and I was so upset. I was like, oh my gosh, my like ovaries have so many cysts. Like, I was telling everyone when I came back, oh my god, they had cysts, I just know it. And I was like, for sure certain. They're like, no, you had literally no cysts, but the polyp was there. That was unexpected finding, but and the polyp was basically caused because I didn't go in and get treatment. So please don't do that. That's my advice for this video. If you're having irregular periods, get it straightened out. Because my, I guess it wasn't shedding, and then the periods weren't happening and things were like delayed, then you get like a buildup, and then it turns into a polyp, and then it turns into a big thing where you have to get it removed. Just don't recommend doing all that. The surgery went well. It was a fairly easy procedure for me. I was better basically the next day. I did stress about it, of course, because I'm that person, but it was a very simple procedure, I would say, on my part. But at the same time, you don't want to have to do all of that. Obviously, you don't want to have surgery. So get things addressed when they happen. That's my advice for this video, instead of being a procrastinator, because procrastination didn't end up well for me. So that was a long-winded thing, but I did have a lot of things on my board, and I don't know, I feel like I am hopeful for this year. I feel like 2020 should be a good year. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I work in ophthalmology and like 2020 sounds great. So I want it to be a great year. And so anyway, I'm going to be making a new vision board coming up. So be looking for that video, because I want to kind of start over. I want to still keep some of the items there, because I feel like I'm still working to being like as close to perfect as I can get on these goals, and like improving. I don't want to stop improving. Oh, my weight. That was another thing. Like, there was like 3 things about my weight on there. Ugh, okay, so weight. As you can see, I still look similar. I did lose some weight, but it wasn't anywhere near what I wanted. But at the same time, it was a decrease, so I will take it. So I looked at my weights in like MyFitnessPal when I was tracking it. So last year in January, versus the end of the year, I have gone down 30. So it doesn't seem like a lot in the scheme of things, but I can tell to an extent. I feel like, and I think most of it was at the end of the year, which sounds really weird because most of the time people lose weight at the beginning of the year, not at the end of the year, but I don't know why that is. But at the end of the year, I felt like I was getting more consistent and losing weight. So I think that's some of the reason too, like why most of the year I was like not feeling great. And then at the end of the year, I was starting to get a little bit better. It wasn't perfect, but it was like improving because the weight was kind of coming off a little bit. So anyway, I got to that goal at least. So I feel like I still have a long ways to go, but at least it was down. Like it wasn't up. That's usually what happens every year is I go up. So I'm like, excuse me. I was like, yes, it's going in the downward direction. We got room for improvement, but we're going in the right direction at least. So, and I feel like also because I still have to take metformin, which is a diabetic medication. And I guess now I'm technically classified as a diabetic with PCOS. It's a whole thing. So the goal, eating the vegetables and the fruit and the exercise and all that stuff, that should all help with that goal as well as weight loss. So, and I really don't want to have to take diabetic medication anymore. Like I hope that would be one day where I get to. I might still have to take it with PCOS. I don't know the logistics on that, but I don't know if you could ever, not be insulin resistant. I know some people that lose a lot of weight, they're not on medication anymore. So that would be ultimately the goal because I don't want to take medication. But at the same time, I also don't want to be ill. So I have to take it for now until I can get that straightened out. So that's kind of where I am for this year. Sorry that was such a long-winded story, but I feel like I had so many points on here that I had to address and give you backstory on. And I feel like you deserved an update because, I mean, we did the vision board together and I never talked about it since. So that's where it's at. And so we'll have another vision board meeting coming up next. And then if you guys want to make one, feel free, or if you guys have any goals that you're planning on working on in the new year, feel free to comment them below. And thanks you guys for watching.